All right, welcome to another episode of Bootcast today. Today I'm joined with Pulak Sinha from On Pepper and of course my co-host Romi Mahajan. Pulak, take it away. Tell us a little bit about On Pepper, how much money you make, how many people do you employ, how are you crushing it?
Oh, it's at an early stage yet.
Okay.
So it is On Pepper is a platform that we have built for the asset management industry,
Mhm.
and this is a massive space, and there are way too many things going on in this industry. And one of the big areas that's going is the alternative assets, and so we focused on that. It's a complex space. It's all enterprise tech,
Mhm.
but we have built a platform that will help this section of the industry.
And
So go ahead.
well, look, from what I know, there's like almost $40 trillion under management in the US. And they're looking at different asset classes, different types of investments. How do they currently keep all of that data wrangled? And then what are you doing to help them make better investment choices?
Sure. And that is the key. That's the crux of this entire product. How do you keep all of this data? I mean, today it's a gaggle of systems that have come from different spaces in the world. In their past, they were probably an equity system which has been repurposed to do some of this work. These systems don't really don't don't cut it, and a lot of it is Excel. Excel is the go-to system everywhere, and in this space, it is like the Bible.
Yeah.
But and it needs to change. I mean, as you just mentioned, it's 40 billion, but it's growing and it's growing faster
Yeah.
as time goes by. So that all of that data needs to go on real high quality platforms that can provide everything from security to accessibility to speed to consistency. There's so many aspects of data. We end up providing all of that.
So if I'm invested as a person, a high net worth individual or whatever, invest with an asset manager, how does the fact that they have On Pepper help me get a better return?
Oh, we say, I mean, as an asset manager, if I can add 200 basis points just to their returns,
Yeah.
all of that flows directly to you as the investor in that asset manager. So it's a big deal for the investors that they understand how their data is being kept, and it adds the transparency. I mean, it adds a lot of transparency about what the data is and can I really trust this manager. I mean, the biggest issue and the biggest challenge in this space has been the lack of transparency. I mean, investors and very large investors sometimes when they invest in an asset manager who's in this specific class, sometimes don't know what's underlying this portfolio. What are they doing?
Yeah.
So this adds that layer of transparency to the investor.
Okay, awesome. Go ahead, Vivek.
I have a question. So
Sure.
what is the size of this market? Like, so are you going after guys like really big guys like Wells Fargo and Fidelity, or like their affiliates, or is it independent, smaller, like, I know there's a company called, Coldstream out of Seattle that manages my money, and they're like, 25, 30 people, I think 20 people, and they have their own brand. They're not part of Fidelity or something else. What is the size of this market? I'm just curious.
So, like Romy mentioned, the size, there are different ways that you start measuring sizes. So one is the overall 40 trillion, which is being managed by different people. All the pension funds have it. Pension funds have groups that invest in managers like this. Similarly, endowments, family offices. So they are a distinct set of LPs that are part of this. The other side of it are the managers themselves. So we are looking at managers anywhere between 100 million in assets under management to something like 10 billion in assets under management. That's the spot for us.
Right.
And you will find over 12,000 managers in this space.
Okay.
So, and these are all over the place, and a lot of them don't even are not known. They could just be doing a few real estate deals, but the complexity of this space,
Mhm.
for them, it is very important that they address the complexity with technology.
So, Pull, do you think of yourself as a fintech in that fintech space? Is that broadly what you would say?
We won't just call ours, it is a subcategory of fintech. So fintech itself has broke, if we look at it, fintech, there is bank tech, which is very specific to what investment banks need. Then there is a whole category which is reg tech,
Right.
which is regulatory technology. So these are all subcategories of fintech. So we come under, and I would almost coin this term, asset tech, where how do asset managers
I like
build?
that. I think you just created a new category, man. That's awesome. Right on the show. Vivek,
Yes,
first time
so
we
Asset
had a
tech.
category created on our show.
Category. There we go. We have asset tech going on. And like, help me understand, where are you in the journey? Did you, how, do you have customers? Do you have pilot customers? Are they paying? Or where are you in the journey in terms of kind of
so we
starting the
have
company?
absolutely. So we have crossed the first step of putting in a pilot customer. We have full paying customers now
Mhm.
in our space. And some of our customers have done very well. Recently, one of our customers just crossed the $1 billion mark. They came on the platform as at when they were just starting off. So these are growing customers, and each growth for them is growth for us.
Awesome.
Uh,
And I'm assuming your pricing is kind of like is some function of the total asset that they are managing, or is monthly
Absolutely.
pricing based on some asset kind of volume effectively?
Absolutely. That's how we manage. It's totally based on the total
How,
assets.
how, how do you get customers? What's your biggest challenge? How do you get customers on? I mean, this seems like a very niche, super niche thing. Like, I mean, the total addressable market is 12,000 people. How do you get in front of these guys, especially during COVID?
So that is the challenge that we are trying to break through now. Till now, as before this, before COVID, it was people we knew and people who knew people. So that is, but we need to go create a different way of marketing to these people and reaching out to them. So some of this would include being on podcasts with you, and some of this would
I
also
don't think there are a ton of asset managers listening to our podcast,
hey,
but there are a
hey,
bunch of bankers. I will tell you, there are a bunch of
There are
bankers in
bankers.
my network, and the bankers that we talk to. Yeah, they are in the mailing list. Do you know of a media company called Merger Tech by any chance?
no, actually, I haven't.
So it's interesting that you should talk to them. Like, they don't service kind of asset managers, but they service people around the M&A industry, like lawyers, kind of iBankers. So they're closer to this than I think the closest that I can think of. I'm sure there's a trade publication for just straight up
I,
money managers.
I do
And
have a question. Vivek's going to laugh because he knows I'm the least technical person on the planet. But, one thing that I did read about your company and been looking at some of the great stuff out on LinkedIn and so on. And you think of yourself, it looks like you guys are very cloud native, right? You're cloud native. You didn't have to build something 20 years ago and port it now. It's native. Tell me why that makes a difference here. Because I'd love to hear a bit about you as both a technology part. I think you're an IIT graduate, but
that's
you're also an MBA from Columbia and so on. So talk about a little bit about how cloud nativity or nativeness has affected your ability to execute.
and we should take a step back on that specific question, because it's a very important question for the entire industry, and it's not just technology industry, but it's technology industry serving all these other industries, which is going to be the key, and cloud is going to be that differentiator. So what cloud does is it allows, number one, it allows entrepreneurs like us to create systems like Pepper.
Yeah.
10 years back, if we had to build the infrastructure just to build the system, we wouldn't have been able to. That would have cost us millions of dollars. But that's one side of the story. The second side of the story, for the user, what we are able to do is we are able to provide multiple functionalities on on a cloud at a cost that is very easy to accept. So a typical startup fund sometimes can't spend 150,000, which is like the benchmark for getting a system into my premise.
Right.
That is totally taken away. If the whole SaaS model allows that. But the bigger thing is the complexity in the system. You're getting data from many different sources. And to be able to integrate that kind of data on any platform will require uh, a technology infrastructure which a non-cloud system will not be able to provide. And that is where I think the distinction will come. And these distinctions start becoming valuable as you scale up, as it becomes, as the systems become more complex, as the business becomes more complex.
Yeah.
So cloud nativity to us is absolutely key to the growth of the whole industry. I mean, the other side, I mean, I would almost say that before cloud and after cloud kind of
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's BC and AD, right? After whatever. I loved it. Yeah, two things now from you on this show. That's awesome.
I'm morbidly curious. Can I give me the backstory on Pepper? Like what is the name itself? Give me the back. I'm sure there's a story over here. Give me that.
Oh, that's a little divergence, but I'll give you a little quick view of why we named it Pepper. So we're based on Wall Street, and I lived down the road, so I would cross Trinity Church every day, and it's obviously one of the oldest churches in the city. It was raining one day, went inside, and there was and my curious thing, which reads everything that's written anywhere. So I saw this very interesting story about Trinity Church when it was founded in 1690s and around that time. The, the monarchy in Britain had given away a whole bunch of land to the church, and they gave that land for one peppercorn a year.
Wow. Wow.
Yes, and that land is still being leased out. Actually, Trinity Church just did a deal, or not just, but a few years back. The whole Hudson Yards is being leased at $6 billion. So, but that was done at one peppercorn, and that was the consideration. So that's a great name for any product that does integrations.
You know, now I understand, because when I used to work for Vivek, he would give me one peppercorn a year for all my.
Yes.
I know where
I like
that from, man.
I like making $6 billion and paying one peppercorn. That would be a pretty good deal, right?
That's the deal.
Pull up that story. Pull up that. You got to get that story on your website, because I will say that speaks volumes as to your view of, you know, what it is to make a good investment ROI, and really to shepherd an industry that I think still remains obscure to people, even though they put money in there, you know. And I was reading this MIT article about data silos recently, and it's just amazing to think about the different asset classes and the different regulatory frameworks, and that all coming together in a fund that you're supposed to move on a dime, right? And to optimize your consumer's investment. But how do you move on a dime without knowing, frankly, what the heck's going on, right? And you need data integration for that. And so, you know, I know from a marketer, it seems like a cliche, but really powerful story. Really, really powerful story.
I have another question. So what's next for you? Are you planning on kind of, you know, growing the company organically? Are you guys raising money? Are you are you chasing after the next big customer? Are you chasing after somebody like really large, like Fidelity or anybody else, like some, you know, big money manager that can pump a lot of volume? What's your kind of next North Star, I guess, or next kind of milestone rather?
Sure. So as a company builder, the first thing is always trying to go after the next big client. So we are always in touch with clients, and that will keep on going. But even to get clients, what we do need is the capital to back up to be able to support some of these larger clients. So that capital for us is key to that growth. And so we are in the market. We will be raising capital, our first seed round now, after having done all of this. to enhance the growth and frankly give our clients the comfort that okay, these guys are going to be there for the next 10 years, and my planning horizons are 10 years, 15 years, and it's
Awesome.
not just the next 2 years.
Got it. Got it. Got it. And how is that fundraising process going given everything that's going on right now? I'm just curious.
So it's early days for us.
Mm.
We have built out the deck. We have built out our piece of how we want to go out in the market and what are the
Right.
terms and everything.
Right.
We start reaching out to to investors in the next few weeks.
Got
And
it.
would you be open if, Pulak, would you be open to, if we get any feedback on this podcast directly to us about people interested in investing, would you be open to having those conversations?
We would definitely be open. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. When we send out the email, we do get a lot of kind of folks that are in the mailing list who are investors, who are themselves, quite frankly. And I've introduced AJ, who was from Leads RX. A couple of folks asked me to get introductions to them, so we'll just forward the emails off to you. It's pretty straightforward, actually. Tell us a little bit about the company itself. You personally are based in New York, but are you fully distributed? Everybody's in New York. Everybody's in all over the world. Give us a sense of how things are.
So the one thing that I realized that you get the talent where it is.
Yep.
So we are everywhere, and my CTO is in Dallas. He has done all of this work for 6 years or from Dallas. We met in this period. We met about 3 times altogether. We work every single day. So my backend team is in India. I have another team which works off Poland. Rest of the folks are in and around New Jersey. I have somebody in Cleveland. So it's talent where you can get it. And the best part is the team has been working together and it has been executing on all of this while being this distributed.
This is pre-COVID, right? This is pre-COVID, obviously. So you guys have been doing this for 6+ years. This is easy for you. You're like, ha ha ha. I've been doing this for way longer than all you idiots.
Exactly.
So,
and we can give lots of good ideas to people about how to do these things.
tell me one good idea. Tell me one good idea that you guys do that you say for work for anywhere for our listeners.
I think the biggest thing is being able to talk to every single person every single day, not just your internal people, but talk to your clients every week. That's the key to success.
So do you make a point of like talking to like at least one client a week, or I can't do all clients a week?
Each of my clients every week.
You do?
Every week I talk to my client.
Yeah.
So yeah. Otherwise, I mean, they are the ones who give me all the feedback in terms of what's coming next, what are they seeing, how are they seeing the product go. I mean, that's the best feedback I can ever get.
I mean, frankly, Pulak, isn't that what we used to call co-creation, right? You're co-creating your product with your customer, right? In some ways, you're not taking a risk. You're de-risking because you're talking to the buyer about the thing you're building, right? In some ways, you're not just being theoretical about it, right?
Yes.
That's a huge takeaway. That's a huge takeaway, for me.
Yes, and being theoretical is good. And I personally come from that background, but once I do that, I take it to the client and get a live feedback. Right. That's the way we do it. So it is co-creation almost always.
Awesome.
Our pipeline is totally built on what our clients have asked us to, or what they need,
Awesome.
what they need.
Yeah, that's a good way of kind of, Romy, as we talked to Sean a couple of days ago around kind of market development. This is a great kind of de-risking of the market development process where you're literally like talking to your customers every week consistently. And I like the idea that you make a consistent point saying that, no, we'll talk to our customers every week. It's almost a forcing function. Instead of like, it's easy to kind of say, oh, we'll talk to them and then we'll go back, do something, come back in a month or quarter or something like that. And then the energy is lost. I got another point. Pulak, do you envision like kind of starting kind of doing some media kind of with your customers? Because that has worked really well for us in the past, where you say like, hey, we'll run a webinar with our customers. So those kind of events are generally very, very helpful. People love to kind of see how other folks have used your product. Literally, that kind of like glorified case study.
I love that.
We would love to do that. So our first client, he has been around since, he started his business of asset management since 1993, I think. Uh, he hates to be in front of even me. He would rather
Okay.
have me on a call for about 3 minutes and say, okay, if everything is all right, or this is not working, or whatever it is. So we would like to get some of them. And he has been, a lot of these guys don't want to be in front of the camera. They are shy of it.
I
Yeah.
get
That's
it.
the nature of the industry. It's they don't go out there.
But you got to break through, man. You got to break through. I mean,
We'll
that's
find a
gonna.
way. We'll
Hey,
find a
Pulak,
way.
open offer from me and Vivek. You want to come
Yes.
back on Bootcast, bring a customer, we'll do this together.
We will
I'm
find you one.
Yeah.
Yeah, bring in a customer. That's a great idea, actually. Pulak, sorry. That's a great idea. You should, if you have a customer, we should actually, Romy, we should actually try to get not only CEOs, but also one of their customers also on it, and then we'll have like a more kind of like a different viewpoint on a lot of things also into the discussion.
Well, Pulak, I know that
Right.
we're going to be, I do know that, I did a call with you some time ago and that you're going to be doing an awesome fintech panel at Interop coming up in October. So we know we'll see you on camera more, but, once again, 15 minutes of fame, you were awesome. And we look for, Vivek has enough assets to put on Pepper. But
But I still like you as a customer.
yeah, hit him up. Yeah. Right now, he doesn't use Excel. He uses a notebook.
Exactly. I don't take money from other people, manage other people's money. That's a separate issue. But
That's right.
no,
Awesome.
good stuff, guys. Thank you so much, Pulak, for joining us. With that, we'll wrap up the show. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Pulak. Vivek, amazing seeing you, man.